Right guys, we have the diesel twin. This is the one you've been waiting for. Getting the bits on this and seeing if we can get it started. Let me get the overalls on, get this uncovered. I'll show you the bits and show you what we got. Ha ha! You all know what's under there. Back in a minute. Roll the credits. Welcome to the man cave. Let the games begin. Right guys, here we are. We have our twin, which I had a handle on, tried starting, but to be honest with you, I think there's some sort of reduction gear in this end and it's just too hard to turn over by hand. As soon as I hit compression, that stop. Originally, as you can see by the earth clamp, this car originally had engine originally had electric starter. There's our ring gear, everything. Well, I had a ride over Jesse yesterday. He was the guy that kindly donated the engine, and he gave me a bag. What have we got in our bag? We have a tank strap. We have an original fuel tank. Another tank strap. A diesel pipe with the little banjo bolt. Spacer for the starter. And a broken tank bracket, which sits on here. So our mission today is we need to, or what I'm going to do, is get the starter motor back on. I do have the other stud. Let me show you. In my toolbox. Let me get my toolbox out of my pram chassis. I know you guys love that old pram chassis. Hang on, let's get you set up here so I can splay this toolbox. There we go. In here, I do have... let's get these tipped out. There we go. I took one of the studs out and I took it up the nut and bolt place and got some nuts to fit on there. So we just got to buzz that back in there like so. Do him up with some mole grips, get the starter on, and that should be quite straightforward. Hang on, where's the starter motor? I think that's in the boot of the man cave car. Here it is. And you wouldn't believe how heavy this starter motor is. It weighs a ton. There's certainly nothing lightweight about that starter motor. I mean, look at the physical size of the damn thing. It is absolutely huge. But there you go. So let's actually try on our spacer. Now I am a stud missing out of there. So I bought what I think, do you know, that's the wrong size bloody bolt. I said to him I want a bolt with that thread and that length. And it don't appear like it's going to fit. Oh yes it is, that's going in, isn't it? Yeah. I think the hole is bunged up. Tell you what it was, when I bought this starter motor, this is not the original one off the engine, we don't know what happened to that. But I bought this starter and it wouldn't go over the studs. It was like, and I thought, oh, it's the wrong starter motor. But then I noticed there's two separate holes because these studs were originally in these holes, this hole and this hole in there, which make them a little bit closer. And it looked a lot further off than that, but I just turned these studs out, put them in these outer holes. That starter seemed to fit, and I believe it's the right rotation. So that's all good. So first job, get that. Oh, look at that, fits on there, an absolute treat. Does that go that way? Or does it go this way? Because we've got this ring recess here. And I don't know what that ring is for. I don't know whether that go against the starter. Ah! I believe that fit in this recess of the starter. Let's give it a lash. So let's see if this plate goes with this ring starter side. Yeah, do you know, I don't know whether that goes in that starter or whether it goes the other way around. I honestly don't know. I'm guessing it don't seem to fit in the starter very well. So I'm thinking that's going to go on like that. Oh, it is. Yeah, that fits in there now, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Right, let me get you in the tripod so I can get two hands and then we'll be getting on with this thing. Back in a mo. Right, we're back. One of the first things I want to do is wind these studs in here a bit more. Because I only put them in by hand the other day. And them mole grips don't do up enough. Let me get another pair, see if they will. My mole grips have got the damn gap in them. We'll have to do it with the end of them. Oh yes, that's going in. So let's get our starter ring on. Just check these nuts they've given me are the right ones. They are indeed. Look at that. Excellent. So now we'll get our starter motor on. Look at him. Why have we got all that gap there, look? It's like there's a big spacer missing off there. We've got a massive gap, look. See that? With no thread. Why is that there? I'm assuming that starter motor is right like that. But we have a little, or is there meant to be a tube? Maybe there's a tube spacer go over there. We can perhaps for now put some bolts over there to sort of make a spacer up just so that holds the starter. I shall have to have a dig around and see if I can find some bigger nuts or even some washers to go over there, but we're going to need quite a few damn washers because we've got 3/4 of an inch there, I think. Same on the bottom, yeah. I wondered if there was meant to be a thicker spacer than that, but no, I don't think so. This spacer actually come off Jeff's SR2, which I believe is the same, because he used to have an electric starter on his. Oh, that fits in there, yeah. And he took the electric starter off, and I've got the ring. Oh yeah, that ring has gone in there now, look. Yeah, that ring actually went inside there, so that does actually hold that in now. That's good. So I'm pretty sure that is the way around that goes. So we just need to find some spacers now to hold our starter motor on. So I'm back, armed with what I think I can use as spacers. I've got a little handful of bits and pieces here, including some nuts which fit over these studs. I know, it's crude, but when we want to get the job done, we've got to use what we got. And will them nuts go over there to act as spacers? Whoops, the neighbours are doing some renos. And I don't mean the cars, I mean renovations. Oh, look at that, 2 nuts fit over there a treat. So if I put a couple of washers on here and all, which don't fit over there, isn't that sod's law? Ah, that one go. Well, there we go. That'll be one on. Sorted. Let's now get these. I should have 2 more nuts which actually do go over the bottom as well. That is brilliant stuff. Oh yeah, that's tight. Yep, definitely tight. Right, now we've got our starter motor on. And the engine's turning, so we're not snagging up on it. That is super. I think what we can do now is, before I put the fuel tank on, I'm going to change this fuel filter. Because if you remember, there isn't a filter in there at the moment. Do you remember I took it to pieces with... I took it to pieces and didn't put a filter back on? See if we can suss why. Why and how this is happening. There we go, that's our nut off. But they have put quite the thread on there. There we go, there's our filter bowl. There's no water in that again, so which is good. So I'm going to give this filter bowl a wipe out. That was pretty clean actually, because I did it last time if you remember. Right, so that filter bowl is nice and clean now. Let's get our new filter. Here's our new filter. Lovely. There is a little O-ring on the bottom there. That is actually still soft and supple. So we can leave that one be. What's the fill there? The O-ring up in here and all. Which actually... Is there an O-ring up in there? Must be for that to seal on. Do this one go up before I go pulling the old one out? Well, that one fit in there. This one doesn't. This one seemed too big. So I think there is a really thin one up in there. Let's see if we can get that thin one out. Come on. Well, we're at point of no return now because we're broken it. So there it is. No, we hadn't broken it. So let's get our new O-ring up in there. There we go. Yep, that's up and that isn't nipped. So let's get our filter in. Like so. And we can get that bolted back up. There we go. Sooner or later this thread will run out and we will get to it. Now before you go nip this up, I always just spin these filter bowls a little just to make sure the O-ring hasn't got any bulges coming out the side or it hasn't snarled up and it don't appear it has. There you go. There we go. So we shouldn't have any leaks on there now. So this fitting, which we borrowed out of the Enfield, if you remember. You remember we borrowed that out of the Enfield? Well, we can now take this out and put that back in the Enfield. Because we should be able to use the banjo bolt what we got off Jeff yesterday, which again should be right, because he said that's the one that come off the engine. Yep. I got some new copper O-rings, so when we do put that back on, so we've got our new fuel filter in. Our banjo bolt fits, so I think now is get the tank back on. I'm going to have to find a nut to go on that tank strap. Right here, look. I'm missing the nut. But I think our tank is pretty much... Cool, that bracket's a bit bent, look. But I think once that's bolted back up, we can tap that back to shape. Ah, there we go. But for the minute, I'm just going to tighten this one up. And I think that'll do us. That'll just about hold us enough for what we want to do for the minute. There. There. So what do you reckon she's looking like now we've got this tank back on? Yeah, we can get this banjo bolt back on now. But I just need to put on there some new copper washers out of my new packet I bought. That. Imperial copper washers. Look at them, they fit there a treat. Look at them bad boys. There we go. So we can put one of them this side, one of them this side, and get him whizzed back up. There. There we go. Alright, let's nip that back up. Alright, we are back with our diesel. So let's horn a bit of diesel in here. Do we need a funnel? Nah. Look at that. Got a nice strong hand here. Crikey, I soon swallowed this tin of diesel up. There was about 4 litres of diesel in there, and I'd hardly come to the dam, hardly come up there. Well, there you go, that'll do us. I reckon that's got to cost 20 quid to fill this up with diesel, you know. I shall have to get some red diesel, I reckon. There we go, she's on. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing bled up. Back round this side, we've got to bleed it up at this filter, haven't we, if you remember? Undo all them little bleeders. Let's get you in a bit closer. There we go. Alright, there are our bleeders. Let's get some light on the subject. I ain't doing a lot different, but we're a bit in the dark now. We're underneath there. So let's spin these undone. Whoops, a daisy, I dropped the damn thing. So we've got the bleeder out. In fact, we have 2 bleeders out. But you got to remember, that's got to run through this pipe and fill this filter up, which could take a couple of minutes. If you guys see diesel come out of them 2 holes, just shout. Just go, man cave, coming. Oh, I can hear it. I heard it bubble. Come on. So that's obviously starting to come through. There we go. Oh yes, we have diesel coming out of these now. Yep, there was the last little air bubble just come out of there. So we got diesel out of that one. There we go, and diesel out of this one. Excellent. Look at that. So we're bled up. Let me just give these a little nip, these bleed nipples. There we go. They only want a tiny little nip up so they don't leak. So we've got diesel up this end. Now we need to put diesel and bleed it somehow up this injector end. Because I very much doubt, but just cranking it, that's going to bleed itself up, because that's been dry for too long. So I can see us having to do a little bit of work around this side now. Now I think we've got to buzz this cover off and see if we can get any diesel come out of there, which we should do. Because I remember from doing that SL, I remember when I done the SL, I had to bleed it up in here. So let me get this cover off. Shan't film that, and then we'll be back. So we've got the cover off, and we're under here with the injector, or with the pump, should I say. So we just want to split this nut off on each one. There you go, that's cracked. Same with this one. We'll just crack these 2 pipes off, and then what I'm going to do is we'll squirt a little bit of contact cleaner in there to dry all that off, and then we'll crank this over by hand and see if we get any sort of diesel coming out of there. If we have, we're in luck. Right, we've got a little bit of spray. Let's just give them a spray off. And then once this stuff's dry, which shouldn't take long, because this is fast evaporating stuff, then we'll know if we're actually getting diesel coming out of there. Yep, that's all starting to dry off nicely. Yep, So let me grab the handle and we'll see if we can get any diesel coming out of there. Alright, I've got my handle on. We need to look to see if that starts to get wet. Can I do this? That's decompressed. Oh yeah, I can do that from this side, look. What we're looking for is diesel. Ah, it's coming out of this one, look. I don't know whether you can see that side. Ah, I don't think that is diesel, I think that's oil. No, that is diesel coming out here, I think. Yep, that's definitely diesel coming out of that side. So this side appears to be bled. Oh yes. So that side's bled. We've just got to try and get some out of this side now. Right. Let's open this bleed screw. And get some diesel out of here. Right. Yep, we got diesel up to there. Now we might have to just crank this over, and I could cheat and just give it a little bit of ether to bark it off a couple of times. Look at that shape. To bark it off a couple of times, and then that'll probably self-bleed it. Because that'll save me taking them rocker covers off and actually cracking it off at the injector. Alright, let's have a look. Right, we don't appear to be getting a lot out of there at the minute. Yeah, I think we might do it on the starter motor and just give it a little bit of ether. Just give it a couple of sniffs just to get it to go. And I think once we can get it sort of going on a bit of ether, that'll hopefully bleed itself through and keep going. Right, just check these are tight. They are. Now we'll get this cover back on here now. Yeah, we'll get this cover back on and then we'll get the jump leads on and see if this thing will actually spin on the starter. Alright, let's come back around this side, guys. Now what we need to do is get my battery around here, get the starter motor connected up with some jump leads, and number one, we'll see if this starter is actually working right and turning this engine, and number two, will it do? Right, here we go. Right. Have I got short enough leads here for this job, guys? Damn great old set of leads I've got, look. But they are some good ones. Alright, here we go. That's there. Let's get this starter motor earthed. There. We can crank him on this bolt or something. Well, that starter's turning that engine an absolute treat. Which is always good, isn't it? Let's get you guys up here. Let's get you up here. Yeah. So I'm just going to crank it, give it a little sniff of ether. And I know this is a cheat, but I'm hoping that's going to bleed it for us doing it this way. And doing it once, it's not going to hurt. The engine ain't going to get addicted to easy start, just doing it the once. There we go, got a little bit of ether there. I need to be able to just decompress these. None of these levers are missing, if you remember. I need another grip on this side, don't I? If you remember, these levers are snapped off. Which is not ideal. But I am trying to source some more levers. If not, I shall have to make some. Alright, that one's going to hold on there, I think. Come on. Alright, that one's on there. So we'll give her a little sniff of easy. And we'll give her a little crank and a decompress and see if we can get anything. I think she's starting to. I want a little bit more. Come on, girl. Let's get that drawn. I think she started to go there, didn't it? Come on, girl. She started to go. I wish I had the proper decompressor levers on there so we could decompress this properly. Seems like you have to push one way and one the other. Alright. Yeah, I've got to get new knobs on that decompressor. They certainly aren't right. Wow, there we go. Look at that. She barked up. She's running a skosh on the fast side. I think we need to turn the idle down. But that little sniff of easy just helped bleed it up. And once she sort of pulled its air through, she's alright. I think we need to undo this screw air a bit, because there's open on your throttle. And she ain't fully closing, look. So I think if we wind that screw right out, she'll actually tick over at a moderate rate. Because she was racing away. But there we go. This is what you ought to see. She is running. After years, the diesel runs. Appears to run okay, but we'll see, won't we? I mean, that was only a little snippet, but it seemed to run alright. Well, I'm over the moon with that. That's really good. So I'm going to call this video a day now. And I'm sure you guys have waited the whole 1 hour length of this video just to see that 10-second start. I'm sure some of you will get fed up and forward through and think, get through all that bullshit. Let's get to the bit where you try and start it. But I showed you everything. Tank on. If anybody's got a tank nut, let me know. There's a bare token waiting if you'd pop one in the post for me. So I just need one of them little nuts for the tank strap. And I think, yeah, apart from that, we're good to go. Yeah, I think we've got to wind that out. And I'm pretty sure that'll take that idle speed down, so that's not racing away. I've adjusted the idle speed. Let's see how she starts now. We have got an oil leak where the rocker covers are leaking. Apart from that, we seem to be alright. So I have turned the idle down a little bit. And you got to remember, we ain't got an exhaust. So let's see if she starts. ST2. You can see what I mean by a reduction gear. They got about, I don't know, 800 revs that end, I think. This end going a lot slower, so we have got a reduction box on this end, which is why I couldn't start it by hand. I can see why this was electric start now, not crank. We got no exhaust here, played through, but I can make them up. But I think once that's got an exhaust on it, she will be a bit quieter. Oh yeah, don't she run nice? So I'll get some rocker cover gaskets because that's leaking. There we go. Well, there we go. There's our ST2 running. Brilliant stuff. Just thought I'd add this little bit at the end. Now I've dialed it back a bit. You only have to undo this nut here, because there's your throttle. Look, if you remember, she was cranked right back here somewhere. Hence why she was racing. So we got her down there, so she's at a nice idle now. There we go. Right, there we go. Just wanted to show you guys one last little run. I also do need a couple of these decompressor levers, because these ones are snapped off. Look, I'm having to use mole grips, which is not ideal. See, they're snapped and they aren't long enough to get leverage. See, I can just about, unless there's some way I could extend these. I mean, that one's broken right off and somebody's put a nail in there. Look, that's not ideal. So, yeah, someone's put a nail through there. So I can see why that one's not working as well as this one is. Because obviously that's a lot of play in there with that nail. Now, there we go. There is the ST2 all up and running. This is definitely it now. And see you guys next time. Bye bye for now. Ha ha. Love it.